Hey, everybody, welcome back to Off the Wall. I'm Mike.
And I'm Sol.
We are hitting up the Invincible Season 2 mid-season finale, Episode 4. Sure felt like a finale. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Lord Almighty. We got quite the lore dump this episode. We know what happened to Nolan after he left Earth. We know what he's been up to since then. And we saw a lot of character development with Eve
Yeah.
in this one, and we know that Mark's mom is trying to put her life back together and may have found a way to do so. Soul,
Yeah.
how'd you feel about this one?
I really enjoyed this episode a lot, and it might be the best of the four. And I've been loving every single episode so far. So that's high praise for this episode. And I just like the juxtaposition between Nolan and Debbie. And we'll get into that. Just like him going through space with the sad music and then her just walking through town with sad music. I love that they are showing both his parents, ultimately one of them being the creator of all the sadness that's going on, but both of his parents going through it.
I love the choice of music. I actually Shazammed like every all the
Right,
songs
me
this
too.
episode. Well, because the first one I knew was a Nick Cave song, and I love Nick Cave. So the fact they used Nick Cave, it was not even a Nick Cave, it was a Nick Cave B-side from like a couple of years ago, I think. That
The
got
music in the
released.
show is phenomenal. I've
It is.
Shazammed like almost everything.
I Shazam every episode, but the two I want, but the Nick Cave one is the one they were playing at the beginning while we were seeing what happened to Nolan after Earth. And then Blonde Shell was the song Olympus, was the one that Debbie was walking barefoot to the cemetery.
Yeah.
Did she just walk all night from what happened at the bar with Green Ghost's
It looks like
husband?
it.
Or
Her hair.
yeah, I was trying to figure out. I was like, she didn't just walk here all. Oh, she did. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, Debbie. She's not okay at the beginning. She's getting better by the end, but at the beginning of this episode, she is not okay.
I was afraid for a second when she was on that bridge.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, Debbie don't.
Mm-hmm. Or when she was at the house, like putting everything back in order. I was like, what are you doing, Deb? Why? But then Mark Hamill showed up and everything. Because Mark Hamill fixes everything.
And that's one thing I forgot about too, that in season one, that's Nolan's best friend on Earth. That's the person that he goes and hangs out with, sits on top of the roof, drinks a beer, talks about his day, talks about being a superhero with. So it's not just these people like Debbie and Mark who are feeling this loss of Nolan, or even like the people of Earth who saw him as a hero. It's people like Mark Hamill's character as well, who knew him for so long, did his costume, basically was his ear to talk to when he couldn't talk to his wife or Mark. So that's another person that I was like, oh wow, I forgot about him.
Yeah, Art is the when you got to figure in Nolan's line of work, if there's one person he's going to spend most of his time with, it's the guy that makes his super suit, because he's going to need to get that thing fixed a lot.
Where's my super suit?
Where's my super suit? So yeah, so it stands to reason that they'd spend an exorbitant amount of time together. I was wondering where he was. I've been waiting for him to show up this whole season. I was more like, oh, finally, Jesus, where has he been? How is he? I was kind of like, how have, especially after the way last season ended, I was like, how have these two not been leaning on each other more, or at least her on him? And maybe that's to come. I don't know. I couldn't tell if the scene had, and maybe this is just the way my brain works, but I was like, are they gonna develop a thing with these two, like come together? I don't think so, but I don't know with this show. It's hard to predict, you know.
The way I felt about possibly is that the type of person Debbie is, she's not going to call for help. She's going to be strong. And when you heard Art talking about how much she put on like Nolan and missing Nolan, but she was the one raising Mark. She was basically a single parent
Yeah.
throughout the times that he was always away. So just seeing who Debbie is throughout this season and the first season, she's not going to call for help. She's not going to talk to other people about what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's why she's been internalizing so much. And that's why she broke at the end of last episode and beginning of this episode.
I wonder, because it was coming up at the same time as the argument that Mark is having with Nolan about replacing your last family, because this show is so thematic, I was like, are they setting it up to where Debbie is going to find a new person and have the same fight with Mark for a completely different set of reasons? So I'm like, from a drama and intrigue standpoint, I'm like, I could totally see the show going that way. I'm kind of not in the mood for that right now, but I could see that happening.
Yeah.
But then and then by the end she tells Cecil, I'm not taking the money from Nolan's, because Nolan had the whole.
Hey, you did it too. You called him Cecil, not
I did
Cecil.
call him Cecil. I know. Because
blame Bogz.
I am blaming Bogz, because basically Nolan's secret identity was that he was a sci-fi author when it was really just bullcrap novels published about his actual exploits in space. Then they've just been
read my books, Mark.
Read my books, Mark. And Cecil's been basically just paying the family out of book royalties. For books that I actually don't think exist. And she's like, you know what? I don't need your money anymore. We'll be fine. And now I no longer, because there is that line she drops of like, now you don't have this to basically hold over us anymore.
Yeah.
But I also, because of the way the show has been so far, I don't think that's the kind of thing Cecil would do. Cecil to me strikes me as Nick Fury with a moral compass. I feel like whereas Nick Fury is always very obviously has ulterior motives, I think Cecil quite genuinely is just trying to do the right thing.
I think Cecil probably moral compass is on the same or even worse than Nick Fury.
Really?
Yeah. I think he plays with his morality depending on the situation, which is very Nick Fury like.
It is.
And so that's 100% something I could see that he would hold Debbie and Mark over. And he's probably really pissed with Mark for leaving as well. And I'm waiting to see what the consequences of that will be for Debbie and Mark when he comes back.
See, I think where I think Cecil and Nick Fury differ is when you look at how things have been going with Mark in this season, because I feel like Nick Fury would have been all too happy to let Invincible back into the field, to have him work, whereas Cecil was like, no, I want you to come back when you're not an emotional mess. Like I think Cecil is a safety first kind of Nick Fury.
I can see that where he's a little bit more cautious than Nick Fury, but I don't think it's from a moral ground.
I don't know. We'll see. I think it could go either way. I totally get where I can totally see where you're coming from. I think it could go either way. I feel like because the show likes to draw parallels, but not super heavy ones, I feel like they wouldn't want to make him too much like Nick Fury, but who's to say?
There's another thing though, speaking about the books that Nolan wrote. Mark is a nerd. He loves to read comic books. You think that he'd be in sci-fi and fantasy. You would think that he would have read his father's book if that's the genre. So that doesn't make sense to me that he wouldn't have read his father's books as much as he looked up to his father, as much as he loves that genre, as nerdy as he is with his comic books. You would think he'd be reading those books already.
I think it's more of I wonder if maybe they were under the impression the books were just a front and there was nothing really to them. But I also wonder if maybe he did, but now that he knows as much as he does, when he reads it, he can see things he didn't see before. You know, because up until he, you know, as far as the story is concerned, up until a year ago, he didn't know about half the stuff that he does now.
Right.
So, so we'll see. We'll see next year.
Well, next year, but it's only like a month, 2 months.
When do we know? Do we know when the second half of the season's
I think
dropping
it's
yet?
January.
Is it January? Let me see if they have it. See right now, yeah, on the webs on Wiki, it just says early 2024.
Yeah, I think I saw somewhere January. It might be February, but that's not too long to
No,
wait.
it's not, but I want it now. You
I
especially
know. I
because
know.
the ending of this mid-season was so rude. Just the disrespect. All right, so that's everything going on with Debbie and Nolan and Mark for the most. Well, we haven't talked about what happens on the planet with Mark and Nolan, which is Nolan got himself a new little kingdom and a new little family, and
Yeah.
Mark is less than pleased.
Don't you love how instead of invincible being the word that it goes to the credit, it's the word is for
You gotta be
fuck.
invincible.
Yeah,
Fucking
fucking
kidding
kidding
me.
me.
I laughed so hard.
But
Wow.
and you see too the emotions that Mark is going through because he hugs his father because he misses him, but then he's also like, fuck you, and like
Fuck
trying to
you.
step up to him as well. And you see too, like that moment of trying to make his father flinch
Mhm.
before the hug. And so Mark's not okay right now.
Mm-mm. He is handling the fact that he just saw his father for the last time he saw his father. His father was trying to kill him, beat him within an inch of his life, disappeared for a year. He's been going through the year of recovering from that incident, plus starting college, plus trying to, make sure his mom is okay, plus being invincible,
Mm-hmm.
plus he just spent, what was it, a week in space traveling with this bug, plus he was lied to about why he had to leave for a week, plus he just lost his virginity to his girlfriend, plus now his
Yeah.
dad is actually alive, plus his dad has a whole second family, plus, by the way, the Viltrumites are coming to kill us and we need to start training right now.
Yeah. And
No.
remember the last words that he spoke with his father, because his father goes, basically, why do you care about these people? You're going to live so much longer. Who will you still have? And
Mhm.
then he goes, I'll have you.
I'll have you.
And that's the last words that him and his father spoke together.
Yeah. And then his dad was ready to throw himself into a black hole because he doesn't know how to handle, talk about not being okay. He doesn't
Yeah.
know how to handle what he's feeling right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because he straight up asks Mark after violence happens, Mark, why do I feel like this? Why do I care? What is going on? I'm
This
not
is how you should have felt on Earth.
how you should have felt on Earth. And his dad's like, I'm not supposed to feel this way about anything. It's the power of love.
Are we going to get a face turn?
I don't know. Because I feel like them taking Omni-Man back with them is going to be a heavy amount of torture and brainwashing. I think
Yeah.
the next time we see him, it's going to be like none of this episode ever happened. He's just going to be ready to, I mean,
Well,
I'm
they said
talking
they're going
like
to kill him.
they're going to, I don't think they're going to kill him. I think
I
they're
think
like,
they're going to try and he's going to escape.
oh, see, I think they're telling Invincible they're going to go kill his dad, and I think they're going to Clockwork Orange his ass. And
I think they legitimately want to murder him
oh,
because just the way the Viltrumites are
mhm.
and kill the weak, to them Nolan is weak for
See, I
doing
think
what
that
he did. So I think they're gonna try to kill him and he's gonna somehow escape.
see the only I think he's such an anomaly. They're going to be like, how did this happen, and how can we prevent it?
Yeah. And that
Um,
could be too where they're
yeah.
gonna try to like do some research before killing him, but I think the ultimate goal is to kill him.
Well, especially now that we've got the motherfucking Clancy Brown in this thing as basically General Zod. I am you to dangle that in front of me at the end of this episode and tell me I got to wait till next year is
Right.
savage.
And the orders given to Mark.
And we don't know. So here, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but as far with this episode, at the end of this episode, we still don't know the overall fate of Alan. We still don't know where Sterling K. Brown is. Not in this episode, not in this episode or the last episode.
The Muller twin stuff was hilarious, though.
Flawless, 10 out of 10, no notes on anything to do with the Maulers. We didn't see anything from the Guardians this episode at all.
Yeah.
Nothing from the Martians. So that leads me to believe that, like, okay, everything that happened in this episode, this is our main story for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
It's Mark going back to Earth and trying to figure out what to do about the Viltrumites.
Although I feel like he's going to come back to Earth and there's going to be so much shit going on that he's like, I got to deal with this and the Viltrumites.
And you've been gone from college for, what was it, a week?
He's been gone for a week, and it looks like it's going to be a second week to get back home, and possibly a third week. So that's missing your first 3 weeks of classes, which is not good.
No, it's not. Freshman, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, plus, as much as William talks about it's cool to skip classes, you're paying so much money.
Guys, don't.
Like, as someone who has skipped a class here or there, when I was in college, everyone does it.
Oh yeah, take a mental health day once in a while.
But if you can go to class, go to class.
Go to class, kids. It's too expensive. Just go to class, please. God, don't waste the time.
Especially if you're paying.
Why are you watching this? You should be studying, honestly.
I mean, and you look how large those dorm rooms in that hallway is. It's probably real expensive.
God, that is the most unrealistic thing about this show. Never mind the superheroes and the aliens and the interdimensional travel. No, the size of those dorm rooms is unbelievable. I do not believe those exist anywhere in the world. Eve had some stuff going on this episode. Mm-hmm. Eve had a bad day at work.
Her dad's words are fucking with her.
And they're kind of raining a little true. I mean,
when the worst person you know says something correct.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that everything going on with Eve's story is basically The Boys, which is superheroes are dangerous and the world is probably better off not actually having them when you really think about it. That's basically The Boys in a nutshell. And that's what we're getting with Eve minus all the cynicism. Yeah. And it's heartbreaking to watch.
And I got a place in town. She's at the old HQ of her team.
What was it?
What was her team called?
Oh my God.
Before they became the Guardians.
Yeah. The
was it like the teen team?
It was something like that. Son of a bitch. I got keep
the place where the place where she saw too Rexplode cheating on her.
It is the teen team.
Okay.
I was like, it can't be that simple and dumb, but it is. Okay. It's the teen team.
So she's there where the teen team is, and I'm surprised that Rudy still left all that shit there.
Too. I am too, honestly.
Come on, robot.
Yeah, but you're better than that. Come on.
Right.
You weren't a human yet at that point. So she's just trying to figure she is learning the hard way the concept of just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
And this is what happens when, I mean, this is hubris. This is her hubris catching up with her, because yes, she's incredible. Yes, she's powerful, and yes, she can do so much, but her problem is she knows it. Mm-hmm. She's too self-aware of what she can do, and
a little bit of an anger issue with her too, which we saw with Mark last episode. We're seeing this with her. So I think one of the low-key themes of this season is, how do you deal with your anger?
Yeah. It's also a comment on nature versus nurture, because Mark was raised in a loving home, but has these genetic predispositions from his father as a Viltrumite. Who knows what that? And then you've got Eve, who just grew up in the worst household, truly the worst household, with a emotionally
Mm.
and mentally abusive set of parents.
And she still has a lovely disposition about
And she's
herself.
got a lovely disposition, but it also stands to reason that, yeah, that would wear on a person after a while.
Mhm.
And here she is, someone who just finished high school and thinks she's got everything figured out
Yeah.
just because she has the power to essentially do anything. And it's like, yeah, but then you get to a day like today where, hey, Eve, but you still can't bring back the dead.
Yeah.
People can still die.
Girl, your prefrontal cortex is not developed yet. Like,
No. Good Lord. Go have a bender. Like go
yeah. Go have
try.
brunch with Amber and William.
Who doesn't love brunch? Who doesn't want to have brunch? You can have waffles and alcohol. It's the best. Yeah, it's no one's really doing well right now.
No.
No
I
one's
think
having
Amber is doing the best right now out of everyone.
I'm still trying to reconcile with that. It's like, oh great, Amber's the only one having a good time right now. But we're supposed to like Amber this season. Damn it.
I like Amber.
I know. I like her this season because they're writing her different. But anyway, well, because again, like the exchange she has with William and Eve could have gone so much different because it could have been he's been gone for a week and I can't believe I haven't heard from him, which is what happens in 2/3 of superhero content out there. Is like, he's been gone, I'm gonna leave him. It's like you're dating a superhero. You knew, but we got that last episode where she's like, no, I know what I signed up for. I knew you were gonna have to go do things. It sucks, but
think about too the emotions that just happen after you lose your virginity, just like the hormones that happen in your body, and then to literally be like, bye, he's off in space, I'm now here, what do we do?
I will say this, I got the impression that this was his first time, not hers. Yeah, that's she just from she seemed to have a better handle on things than Mark did, which is because Mark, as we all know, is a magnificently
nerd.
Nerd. He is a dork. So it should be in no way, because when she was like, you don't like what happens if we and Mark is trying to find the most polite way to say I'm a virgin to the woman you're about to have sex with for the first time. So but yeah, they had their first time together, and then he was like, bye, I gotta go for a week. And now granted, she looked up and saw him on a giant spaceship, so she's like, okay, yeah, no, I can clearly see that this is happening. You're not ghosting me, but
right.
Oof, man, oh man, no one's having a good time right now.
Nope.
Except Matthew and Amber, which is fine. Those two can go up. That's fine. They're
William's still dealing with the emotions of, what was it, Rick? What's his name? So he's still not completely okay, but he's better than everyone else.
You know who's also not completely okay? Dawn.
No, he's not.
Dawn is not okay.
Dawn's a cyborg.
Dawn's a cyborg. Dawn's Metallo. Oh, this is happening. Oh, Dawn is not okay. When I didn't know what was about to happen in that scene.
Yeah,
I was so scared.
When he stabs himself and he bleeds and goes, oh, thank God, and then sees the knife is like messed up, he's like, oh, fuck.
I thought he was feeling for like a tracking device or like pulling a Black Noir and taking his out, and then but the music got so like despondent. I was like, wait, what's happening right now?
Yeah,
I kind of don't like where this is going.
Right.
And then when he sees the pointed end of the knife, I think I got ripped. That's why you can kind of see my hair right now was like this, because I was like especially when the other Viltrumite showed up and kicked Nolan in the spine. I was like,
oh, with his guts hanging out, like
with his gut. Well, just when.
What
by the way,
is the Viltrumite's healing power? Like, for real?
No, I want to know where Viltrumites learned to karate chop, because that is Nolan's number one. He has karate chopped half the cast of this show to death. And most of those times have been the Immortal. He has karate chopped the Immortal's head off so many times. But
I mean, well, we saw that the taking arms off is a very Viltrumite thing.
Yes, it is. But so are dagger ponytails, apparently.
Oh
Good. God. That stuff like that sends my anxiety through the roof.
Let's talk too on that fight. Nolan says, "Stop fighting like you're on Earth. This is kill or be killed."
Yeah.
And it's the first time that Mark lets himself be completely vicious.
It's Superman fighting Darkseid. It's like, this is the
Yeah.
first time I've fought somebody who can take what I can dish out.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where if Mark allows him to get to that himself to get to that point, will he come back from that?
It's an interesting dynamic because you also have to remember these people are fighting to kill
Mm-hmm.
and are stronger than you. You have to fight to kill just to do damage to them.
Yeah.
Nothing short of a killing blow or a blow that could kill anyone else will do any amount
Yeah.
of damage to them. You can't you have to go 100 if you want to have
Exactly.
any chance of surviving.
And he's
It's
being
not
told,
it's
get
not
rid
a
of your humanity right now. Your
yeah.
humanity's not going to help you.
It's not a matter of like you have to kill them because killing is good. It's a you have to fight to kill them or you will die.
Yeah.
It's why it's the only anytime anybody there's always those can Batman beat this person, can Batman beat this person. Only person Batman really truly can't beat is probably Wolverine because it's an unkillable killer fighting a guy that doesn't like to kill.
Yeah.
Okay. And I say that as the world's biggest Batman fan. Probably couldn't take out Wolverine. So when Mark finally and because if you go back and watch like the Justice League animated series, that happens when Superman fights Darkseid, where he's like, you don't understand how much I have to hold back from like accidentally pushing the planet out of orbit. You can take it. And then he just fucking unloads on Darkseid. And that's what we had on a much bigger scale towards at the end of this episode. When he put his elbow through that woman's jaw.
One thing I think too is because in Viltrumite years, Mark is still like super, super young.
He's a baby.
He's a baby.
He's an adult by our standards, but
yeah, I think the older and older you get, the stronger and stronger you become as a Viltrumite, is what I'm gonna guess.
Yeah.
So this is just a fraction of what Mark's powers can be.
Because that lady seemed like she was older.
Yeah.
As did the guy that with the guts hanging out. By the way, interesting to have a Viltrumite who also happens to have a dad bod. I was just like,
he likes to eat.
He likes to, look, I'm not hating on it. I'm just like, good for them for having a dad bod Viltrumite.
Have you seen bodybuilders, like how much of a gut they have on them, but how freaking strong they are?
They eat entire cows.
Yeah.
They just go to the farm with a knife and fork and like that one. Yeah, I want next year. Now I want it. It speaks wonders to how good this show is to like it's just there's so much happening and we've probably forgotten about something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to try to remember at this point because there's too much. But
let's talk for the Muller twins just a little bit.
Oh yeah,
if we did say 10 out of 10 no notes.
Yeah.
So one thing about last season is they said in their design when they clone each other, and they're not supposed to know who's the original and who's the clone because it never works out. And they tell us it never works out for us if that happens. And then we get to see that happen here. And one of them kind of becomes the oppressor.
Because that was the warning they gave to Robot was they were like, you're gonna know, you're gonna be able to know. You're going to know. But he's like, yeah, but it's not gonna matter because the original's gonna die.
Yeah.
In this case, the original became a dick.
Yeah. And the other one kills him.
Some things just stay the way they are because that's the way they work.
And I think if Kate's talking about that Immortal's the only person who's died as much as her, I think the Muller twins is also another who's died as much.
Just an anonymous Zoom support group where like nobody turns their cameras on, but everybody just talks about like all the times they've died, lived other lives, and it's just Immortal, the different Immortal Muller twins and Duplicate talking with like Donald or something like that. All just like, God, remember that one time when Omni-Man crushed my spine? God. Remember that time I got crushed by a building?
Question: was he a cyborg then? And does Nolan know he's a cyborg if he's went through? Because he'd had to have felt that he was a cyborg.
I think this is a new thing. I think
Right.
I think they're using Don. I think he's the Coulson to Cecil's Nick Fury.
Mm.
So and everything with Coulson that happened in Agents of Shield was bad and dumb, but it's clear that that's kind of what they're pulling from. So we'll see. I don't know if this is from the comics or not, but to me this is just a more compelling version of what happened to Coulson in Agents of Shield. So
Yeah. And speaking to that, if it is in the comics, that means this predates that. And
true. Very true. Unless Agents of Shield did it in a comic before Invincible. I don't know. Who the hell's to say? I don't
what
know.
came first, the chicken or the egg?
I don't know because Agents of Shield is terrible, so it doesn't really matter. It ran for, I know it ran for like 8 seasons, but that's just not good. Anyway, I want the rest of the season. I need it. I need to know what's going on. I need to know what's up with Alan. I need to know what's up with Optimus Prime. I mean, the whatever that guy. No, it's Optimus Prime. Peter. Yeah. I need to know what's going on. I need to know what's going on right now. I need it. I need it. I need
Datus,
it.
is that his name?
I don't know. It's Optimus. It's Optimus Prime. He didn't even make an attempt to use a different voice. Like it's Optimus Prime. You don't use that voice and then get to be like, don't call it Optimus Prime. You used the voice. It's like Kevin Conroy did it. If Kevin Conroy did his Batman voice for something, it's like, all right, now I'm just gonna call you Batman. And all right. I don't know what else to say about this. I really don't. The best episode of the season
So
by
good.
far, and the first 3 were stellar. This is the best one by far. The drama, the
Mark's
development,
got a little brother.
and he's purple. The biology. I want to see the Punnett Square biology on how Viltrumite plus giant bug equals purple human. I don't.
That kiss was gross between Nolan.
That was
and
unnecessary.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, get your kids in the room. Also,
both of them.
also, you're gonna make out like that in front of your son and then get mad when she's like, my husband. No, don't tell him I'm your husband. You just made out with her in front of him. Shut up.
Yeah.
God.
And I mean, this is not a long relationship because she's probably going to be dead in a few months.
Yeah, because they live like a year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's gonna be dead like tomorrow.
Yeah. I wonder how long his kid will live for, because they said the Viltrumite blood is slowing him down. So is he just going to have a normal, like, human lifespan? Because Viltrumites live for so long and then they live for just like a year.
It's curious because Mark seems to be aging like a normal human.
Yeah.
So I really don't know. He says that Mark's going to live a lot longer. I'm like, I don't know if that's true. I mean, yeah, his powers took a long time to hit, but he's
It could be
18
one of
and he
those.
looks 18.
It could be one of those where like you age regularly and then like you just stop at a certain age, because
Maybe.
we've seen that before in comics and
Yeah.
stuff.
I don't know. Maybe that's something coming down the pipeline. I'm sure somebody who read the comics is screaming at us right now. Write it in the comments.
Let
and give
us know in the
engagement.
comments.
Yeah, please do. You get to scream into a void and insult us and degrade us, and we get engagement points on
Or
that.
show us love.
Or show us love. I honestly don't care. Just engage with us, honestly. But I prefer love. It is the season. It's Thanksgiving and the holidays, guys.
We cannot play Christmas music because Thanksgiving is finished.
It's true. Yeah, no, it's 100% true. I would be decorating right now, except I'm lazy. So anyway,
that's my main thing is respect the holidays. Let Thanksgiving happen first before Christmas.
Yeah, guys, come on. Christmas doesn't need to start in July. Okay, that was a one-time animated movie. Let's not do it again. Thank you very much. No, we will not be reviewing it on this channel. Anyway, guys, listen. Well, speaking of engagement, look, we're so close to 300 subscribers. It's kind of ridiculous. So we would really love to hit 300 subscribers by the end of the year. It would be fantastic. Please and thank you. We really enjoy that. We have some cool stuff around the corner. So and if you don't, I mean, look, that's cool. I understand, but if you could, that'd be great. Because we love you and we want you to love us. It's the season of love, guys. Come on. Show us some love and subscribe. I can do this all
Tell
day.
your friends.
Tell your friends. And then they'll tell 2 friends. And then they'll tell 2 friends. And then you got some friend overlap, so it's not as many friends as you really think. But like, you know, tell your friends. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you again next time here on Off the Wall. Bye.